talking about just like buying jerseys. What is, because this is kind of Christmas related. What's the best Jets jersey you had as a kid?
I still have it. It's my Curtis Martin jersey. It's the only Jet jersey.
Like you just won't ever let go of that.
I'll never let go of that. I have it. I'll eventually give it to my kid or one of my kids. Still my favorite. I had every jersey growing up. I was the kid who wore like a jersey to like the school dance in like 8th grade, and probably why I didn't have a serious girlfriend until later in high school, because I was wearing like a Curtis Conway jersey to like an 8th grade dance. But I had Keyshawn, I had Testaverde, I had Coles, I had Keller, I had Conway, which is the most ridiculous one I ever had. I had like the white Titans Revis jersey.
Yeah.
I used to get them like crazy. And where they are now, like I have no idea. I used to also get like, too. Yeah, there's maybe somewhere at my parents' house. I used to always get, and why I did this, I don't know, because I would never really wear them out, but I would get jerseys of players who played my position. I played receiver and corner in high school. So I had like an Isaac Bruce jersey. I had like a Charles Woodson jersey. I had like all these jerseys on top of my Jets jerseys. The only Jet jerseys I have now, though, that I held on to are the Curtis Martin one. I have some other like vintage gear, like the jacket, some other stuff I keep around. When I got my kids the Rodgers Gotham Green jerseys last year, because this was the only kids jerseys I could find. Rodgers was the only one that was for sale. And I've said repeatedly to them this year, I'm like, we got to get you the new jersey, the right jersey. And it's what player you're going to get. I'd like to get them Garrett Wilson. When they ask me, like, who's your favorite player on the team right now, Daddy? I say Garrett Wilson. He's the best receiver. I played receiver. I always skew towards the receiver. Santana Moss, Jericho. I had Moss, Cotry, Coles. They were my favorite players.
Moss was one of my first that I remember in Keyshawn. Yeah.
So, Moss was, like, awesome in college. So when they drafted him, it was, like, very cool, very exciting. I had the white 83 jersey. Used to wear it all the time. And for now, I don't – and now I'd be a little hesitant because is Garrett Wilson going to get traded? I don't think he is. He'll be on the team. That would be the next jersey I'd buy for my kids. If I don't teach him to start getting offensive line jerseys, which we shouldn't be biased against offensive line.
Throwback Brandon Moore.
Yeah, get him a Brandon Moore jersey. Get him get something from the old days. But yeah, I basically stopped wearing jerseys. I'm trying to think when I stopped. Basically when I graduated college. I wear the Badlands gear. I have some good vintage Jets gear that I usually wear on game day or if and when I go to a game. I have a lot of Jets like crap laying around. I'm looking right now. I have, a mix of our hats. People always like, they come across like Jet stuff in their life. They just give it to me or give it to my wife to give to me. I have like the nice like pictures that our buddy Matt's drew for us. I have all over the office. So that's my sort of collection at the moment. How about you?
It's weird. I don't love football jerseys, like aesthetically.
It's a tough wear aesthetically.
It's a tough wear aesthetically. All I have is the original Keyshawn, which is not like when he was drafted. That one. Yeah. It's closer.
Different kind of green. Yeah.
Yeah. It's closer to the uniform they wear now, but not quite. It's a different kind of green. It's really, I would almost call it the Parcells kind of green. Or it's almost the Kotite kind of green.
It is, because he was there. He was there at the end of the Kotite.
Right.
Yeah.
So I have that one, and I have the OG green and white Revis. Like that's classic. Always, that's the only jersey. But like those are more, I'll wear them like over a hoodie, once in a blue moon. But I don't really wear football jerseys. I'm a big hockey sweater, basketball jersey guy because I just aesthetically like when it's really cold out. You throw a hockey sweater over a hoodie, and when it's really hot out, I'll wear a basketball jersey.
Jersey Shore down the boardwalk. Wearing the Charles Oakley jersey.
Right. Skateboarding on the beach, all the things that I do. So those I could just literally endlessly get them. Like, I mean, my basketball jersey, I have like Bill Walton, like that kind of stuff. Yeah. And then like hockey, like Leach and Messier. But Jet stuff was mostly kind of like you, like the throwback jacket. All of our stuff is like piling up, all of our merch ideas. We've got a lot of good ones over the years. But yeah, growing up, the funniest football Christmas related story I have is I remember one Christmas I got a new football, and like that was kind of like a thing on Christmas, right? It was like, you probably like threw the shit out of the last one. It's weathered if you left it out in the rain or the cold, or it's flat, whatever it was. So back then, a lot of times the new footballs would come in a giant plastic case with a kicking tee underneath it. It would like hold it up. So this is Christmas. Like no one's around. Like you're not out with your boys playing street football. So I go outside and I grew up in New York. So it's like probably like 15 degrees on Christmas back then. And I'm just like firing this football off the tee. And I think on like the fourth kick, I rip a kick and smash my garage windows. Like just
to make Dad thrilled right now. Like that took you 3 minutes.
my dad comes out and it's like, "Are you kidding me?" He was so pissed. Because it is like you look at it, it's stupid. But like it's Christmas, so like no one's really around in the neighborhood. Everybody's like doing family stuff, and most people went away. And but nobody was around, and I was just like, I'll just fire this off a tee. And I absolutely shattered my garage window. So that's a better Christmas gift football related story.
It's the dangers. Great
when it's 15 degrees out too, and you have a broken garage window.
Yeah, I'm getting dad anxiety here.
Yeah, get ready. You have 2 boys. All this stuff will happen to you.
I'm stressed about it already. It's just the wrestling going on around the house.
You need like I guess pillow wall.
Yeah, we actually, that's a big part of what they have. A lot of stuff they could just wrestle and beat the crap out of each other on is good stuff to
It's funny, like the things you worry about when you're a kid. You like really stress out like, oh man, I hope Mark Sanchez has it today. And then when you're an adult, we're sick, so we still worry about all the football related things. But then you worry about like the actual real house shit. Like,
yes.
Like when I was on the desk for pregame this weekend, I was sitting there and my wife doesn't like text me too much during pregame because I'm on television. I have commercial breaks and they're long. But she texts me a picture of our garbage. And she's like, I emptied out what was left of the pasta. She's real Italian, loves cooking. And the pasta on top of the garbage can. She goes, and this is like what it was before. And this is what it was when I walked away. My 105-pound Great Pyrenees, since she walked away from the garbage can for like 2 minutes, had like a half a pound of pasta, basically.
My God.
So I'm like sitting here, do you got to go to the
like
ER for the vet? Yeah. Like I'm on TV. Yeah. Like this is the type of stuff you worry about.
It's always dangerous to check the phone in between. You never know.
Yeah. So now I'm like, I want to just turn my phone off so nothing bad can happen. Everything's fine, but it's I'm sure you with 2 boys that's magnified times 100.
Listen, you're just talking about garbage. I'm thinking in my head right now that after we record this and after I publish post-game, I'm going to have to, I have to take my garbage pail and my recycle pail out because it's like a different day because of the holiday.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to have a ton of garbage because of Christmas and we don't get the garbage picked up. Big anxiety about what could happen with that. Got to get it out. So I'm going to be out there at like 10:15 tonight, listening to our pods. I always like to check to make sure it like sounds all right, dragging garbage pails around in about 3-degree weather. And then I have a day and a half to get everything ready with 7 Fishes for Christmas Eve. And there's games on Wednesday, so I'll be betting on them. I'll be getting our underdog stuff going. Promo code Badlands, get those in as well. Still got a couple weeks left, and we're hoping they're going to sponsor the live show in some shape or form. We'll be working with them either way, so use the promo code.
Yeah, they're phenomenal.
Always got to squeeze the business in. But yeah, this week is going to be nuts. I remember last year they played on Christmas Eve against Washington, a game that was one of those where it's like they won, but is it really great that they won? And it's like Trevor Siemian was the quarterback, and
it was a bad win. Like we confidently, I mean, we love Olu, so I guess that worked out. But
yeah,
at the time, it felt like a real shitty win.
Exactly. Now
I was on the LIRR because I worked post game, and I took the train out to Long Island to be with my in-laws. My wife drove our car out there with our dog and everything, and I'm on the LIRR. Like, I think I definitely had an IPA with me. And I'm like, man, Christmas Eve, Jets ruined the tank. I'm alone drinking this IPA.
This is the life you've chosen, the business you've chosen. Yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah. I remember I was like running around, like kind of cooking, kind of like drinking, like watching. My in-laws were here. They're like, oh, like they're winning. Do you want to win? And I was like, we go over this every year. I was like, I don't really like, they could win. It's okay. But if they don't win, it's not the end of the world.
Math to them.
I do it I'm like, let me show you this Tankathon site. Let me show you this. And every year we got to go through it. This year, game's not till a few days after Christmas. I'm going to be like bouncing from a buddy's kid's birthday party to make sure I get to watch the game in full because you got to watch it in full. I will say this, like, well, obviously, of course, you're on the desk now full time. I have never, ever literally missed a Jets game. I've seen every single one multiple times. Even when JJ was being born, it was week 2 for Darnold when they were playing the Dolphins at home. And he was born at like 10 a.m. or whatever. And like His first like 3 hours were in my arms watching the game on the phone at Mount Sinai or wherever hospital, the Columbia Presbyterian in New York. And they lost. I remember Bilal Powell had a touchdown, but I've literally never missed a Jets game. And even when they beat the Colts with Curtis Painter, I went to Italy for the first time with my sister and my parents. This was like 2009, so there wasn't as much internet or everything.
Right.
My dad's buddy from work recorded it. This is even like I kind of had a website then, but it was like whatever. I was 22, different time. He recorded it on a VHS and left it in the mailbox for us, so that as soon as we got home from vacation, I was able to go to the mailbox and watch the game, locked in a room upstairs, see what happened. I had made sure no one, we were in Italy, not that anyone was talking about Jets Colts on our tour bus. And as soon as I saw that they won, I ordered the ticket for Jets Bengals and went to there's like a big PR press building that used to be by MetLife where you would go pick up your tickets from StubHub. I went by myself because it was like really short notice, watch the game alone, freezing my ass off, watch them to make the playoffs. That's how I had to watch the game, but I didn't miss it. I watched it on VHS.
That was 2009?
Yes, that was the
Bengals game Thanksgiving?
No, that was the year after when they beat the Bengals on Thanksgiving. This was the year they were 7-7, beat the Colts to get to 8-7,
right.
Then beat the Bengals to make the playoffs, and then beat the Bengals again the week after wild card round. So never missed that. I watched Bryce Petty start against the Rams, ironically, when I was in Napa with my wife. Missed going to the Coppola winery because I had to watch the Jets lose. I think they lost 9-6 to the Rams or beat the Rams 9-6. It was something like that. Didn't miss that one. I'm trying to think if there's any ones that were even close beyond that. I've told the story about I was in Monaco for Sportel, and because of the time difference, I got up at 3 a.m. and watched the Jets Broncos game on NFL International Game Pass. Someone hooked it up, and that was when AVT and Brees got hurt, but I was still happy they won, but sad about the injuries. So yes, it can be very, very consuming. I'm glad they're not.
No, it is.
Yeah, I'm glad they're not playing on Christmas this year.
That is amazing. I really wonder what the last Jets game was that you didn't watch. I don't know the last Jets game I didn't watch, in my life. I know the last quarter I missed, and I might even call it almost a half. This is a real out there story. I can't believe I've never even told this on the podcast. The full details of it will be in my book one day. The last Jets game or quarter that I missed was our most hated season, 2016.
Ugh.
So at the time I'm working at Bleacher Report, but I'm fully behind the scenes. We didn't even start Stick to Football yet. So the only podcasting I'm doing is stuff we would do. And podcasting was weird back then.
Yep.
So, and inconsistent. So that season, which was awful, they're 4-11 going into, they lost on Christmas Eve. They got killed on Christmas Eve by New England that year.
Yes.
41-3. It was terrible.
Petty couldn't get his helmet on or whatever. It was bad.
Yeah. So shortly after Christmas that year, I went away to Costa Rica. With a couple of buddies of mine, and we went in in the jungle. I wasn't in a nice hotel. I was literally in a jungle, in a hostel that was a hut. So this is the most detached I've been from the world. That's the last time I've been that detached from the world. Not much internet, not much really of anything besides surfing and just messing around. I wake up, so that's New Year's Day, that game at 1:00.
Yep.
Well, I was out in Costa Rica, well until the sun came up. And so when I went to bed, I woke up the next day, and I'm like, well, I had no idea what time it was. And I look at it, I'm like, oh, my God, it's the second quarter of the Jets game. That's how my brain functions. I'm in a hut. In
the 4-11 too. It's just
the 4-11 Jets.
Probably 9 people watch the game.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. I'm like, number one, what the hell happened? How am I waking up at 2:30 in the afternoon in Costa Rica? Yeah. And why are the Jets beating the Bills right now? Do we really need to win this game?
Of course, they won that game.
That's the last about quarter and a half I've missed of a Jets game, and I remember it's definitely the least I've ever cared. Normally I would freak out, and it's not even just that. It's a combination of things. One, that's the most distant I've been from the team because not only did we hate that team, but I wasn't on camera that was the Fitz disaster year. It was the end of it. It was so, once again, like I'm at the stage of my life where I'm 20 something years old and I'm in Costa Rica to detach from my life. And yeah, and I'm glad that I'll never be that detached ever again. But that was, I could tell you, that's the only last quarter of Jets football I can remember missing. I'm sure before that was probably, I can't even think, because I feel like I don't know when, like I had to be a kid the last time I missed before that.
Yeah, not in the adult livelihoods. I think
it's weird to think about, right? Like it's a constant of your life, basically your entire life, from September to December every year, every Sunday.
Yeah, it's just a flatly understood to everyone in my life. I'm like, I'm watching the game. Like it just we're building the calendar around it. We have to watch the game. Yeah,
nobody's asked me to do anything on a Sunday in like a really, really long time.
It's an easier justification now that it's just like more of like a thing.
And it's help buy Christmas gifts.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like a real thing. It's not like it was harder to make the case 12 years ago. It's a little easier now. Yeah. And I'll close with, I'll say probably the most detached I was it was probably right around when they hired Gase, because I was just so disgusted they hired him, because I knew that it wasn't going to work. And I knew the next 2 years were going to be such shit. And I was hoping it was only going to be 1 year. And by that point, we had been doing Turn on the Jets like the same way for a really long time. Writing articles, same kind of podcast, same everything. And I was just like tired of it. It's also like, I was married, starting to like get ready to have kids. And it's like, why are we still doing this at this point? And then fortunately, we decided to do the docuseries and build on top of that. And it's worked 20x better than I think either of us thought it would. And now it's like a pretty damn serious thing where we're having like end of the year business meetings about it and looking at how we, continue to grow it. And we'll continue to grow because we have a great team around us and a great community who supports us, which I didn't think was going to be a thing. And we found the right place for it. And if the team would just cooperate, I think it would be that much bigger. But honestly, like I think that because of our community and because of the consistency, hopefully we've proven to be team proof, and eventually they will come around and catch us. So I'll close with a thank you for everyone. I don't take it lightly that you guys pay for content.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's a different kind of approach. I think people are catching up now. I think we were kind of ahead of it, at least in our world, like from sports podcasting, from Jets podcasting, going behind a paywall, which is like a pretty big risk. When I explain it to people who are further away from it, they're like, I cannot believe anyone pays for a podcast, or for a Jets podcast in particular. Now, I would say our shit's really good and we're consistent and we have great fans. And like, we've been doing this for a while. It's not like you and I popped out of thin air out of nowhere and started doing Jets podcasts. We've been doing it since we've been, 20. So, but if there was no fan base, this would be gone now. We wouldn't be doing this anymore. It's not like we don't have other work and other responsibilities.
That's the key,
We'd be okay. Yeah. We wouldn't be, we wouldn't like we'd be out in the street, but it's now has an opportunity, like, as we look ahead to the next few years, to be, I don't know, something bigger than I thought it was going to be. So thank you, everyone, and enjoy your holiday today. CR, any final words?
I'll just echo that. It's, when people, because some people are like, I'm never going to pay for a podcast or whatever. And that's your choice, and no one's offended by that. But the people that do, I hope that shows or means that we've carved out something you enjoy from being a fan of the Jets. That, like, no matter what the result was of the game was, that you're driving to work Monday morning or you're going to sleep Sunday night, and you're excited to listen, just to hear either our thoughts, our emotions, laugh, be angry with us, whatever it may be. Like, that's entertainment, right? It's people pay for Netflix and Hulu and Spotify and all these different things. And our goal is to never make it tenable and unattainable for you to follow our content. The reason that we went behind the paywall is a lot of reasons. It's one, our production value has gone up drastically. I mean, the resources we could dump into how we sound, how we look, who's editing our clips, and the expansion of our team and how much content you get and the time we could dive into it. Like, I don't turn this microphone on and pretend or anything like that. I've watched the game. I've dived into the analytics. I've done as much work. Everything you want to hear, hopefully you get from this show. And I don't know if I could say that about everywhere else in sports media right now. So I'll echo everything you say. We really, the support has made this such a fun show to do.
Absolutely. So we're ending on a positive note, like we said, because it's the holidays. So we'll be back. There'll be episodes Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Sunday, we'll be reacting to Jets Bills in some shape or form, whatever happens
Truly
out
insane.
there. Truly insane to close our 2024. And exciting stuff on the way early next year. We're really, really excited to do a live show and do it properly. Something probably we're overdue on doing. That's why we're planning so far ahead. And excited about the docuseries. It's always good to kind of step out and do something a little different than sort of the normal rhythm. So our goal to keep sort of trying new things year over year and expand what we're doing beyond. It's going to be, again, a crazy offseason. It's another GM search. It's another head coach search. It's probably another quarterback search. So there's not going to be a shortage of shit to talk about, which I will give the Jets credit for. I wish it was wins, but there is never a shortage of things to talk about with this team. It's not a boring team. There's a bad team, but it's not a boring team. So thank you everyone for listening, and we will talk to you soon.